So, hi everyone, I'm Elizabeth from Sacred Earth and Storm School, and I'm really, really excited. This is the Mayan Star Sign series, and today I have a really amazing being that I love so dearly. And her name is Jeneen. And Jeneen, I'm so bad with pronunciation. Do you want to say your surname? It's Italian, eh?
Yes, it is Italian. Picciotto.
I love, yeah, absolutely brilliant. So fantastic. And Jeneen is a red, under the Mayan calendar, she's a red planetary moon. In the Mayan year that we're currently in, that ends in end of July of this year, is actually also a red moon year. So we are all more affected by this red moon than usual. And obviously for you, Jeneen, it's like the red moon is more powerful for you because that's your actual sign that you incarnated with. But before we start kind of talking a little bit about, how your experience is, how you've been living it, because I was just saying before we hopped on that, for me, it's so interesting to see. For me, it's more like an awareness, but to see people how they're actually living it and integrating it in their lives is so exciting. So I'm looking forward to exploring it with you and seeing, because you will have the awareness of what it is the most. I can look at it from the outside, but you're actually living it more potently. So brilliant. So I'm gonna so let me just say, the red moon is the masculine aspect, and then the feminine aspect is galactic. You're actually galactic. I don't know if I said planetary, but actually you're galactic. But anyway, you're galactic. And the thing with galactic is, and this is just where I would love to start because I so observed that in you, and it's about being authentic. And I feel this is such a very tiniest conversation that we're having, because I just, with this full moon that we've just had, so much of it, the Pisces also for me was about being authentic, to go deep into ourselves and to help the outer to reflect the inner. And so your galactic tone is all about ensuring integrity and being authentic, having that inner integrity on all levels. And for me, that is so you. And I sense that, part of you, and perhaps you can speak a bit because it's really for you to be speaking, not me so much, because you're an amazing artist. So, I just want to, as an introduction before you actually start talking or sharing, when I'm observing you is how authentic you are, also with your emotions. So red moon is so much about emotions. The keywords: water, emotions, purifying emotions, purifying water. And for me, it's like, as an artist, and also the most sensitive, it is actually the most sensitive sign out of all the 20 signs of the Mayan, is red moon. You are the most sensitive. And so I've observed are artists in some way because they have this immense sensitivity. And I just remember seeing one of your posts, and you were talking about the loss of somebody that was very dear to you. I think it was a friend or somebody they'd taken their life. And I just wept when I read your post because it was so authentic. There was this absolute sensitivity of the red moon, being willing to really be honest about it, to express it and express even what could not be expressed, in a way. So I just want to acknowledge that for revealing that in the world, because for me, that is red moon, to have that bearing of, in a way, the soul or the being. And very often the challenge, or red moons put up this wall where they seem to be really hard on the outside, but you've never done that. And I so acknowledge and honor you for that. Yeah, so maybe you can speak a little bit about that, and also your wonderful abilities as an artist. And I know such exciting things are happening for you. You're
Yes.
such a creator.
Well, thank you, Elizabeth. I'm struck right away, because this, at least the actual information about all the Mayan astrology and information is new to me, the actual information. But I love this idea, but it doesn't matter because I've been living it, right? We've all been living it.
Exactly.
So it's just another
Exactly.
layer of awareness, right?
Yeah.
But it's so interesting because I think, that concept of authenticity that you were just talking about, um, it's everything to me. It's everything to me. I mean, here I am, I
Wow.
just got done teaching an art class, like in my sweatshirt. I might have paint on my face. I don't know. Maybe I do, maybe I don't, it's just like, it has to be real. Like I just long for that in everything. And you made me think when you said that. I had this flashback to, so I do the sound healing and yoga and all this stuff, and I think this
Yeah.
illustrates it really well. When I was designing that work, yoga and sound, right? So this was 15 years ago. I was introducing sound healing into my yoga classes. So first I went to my yoga lineage holder, Sri Karunamai Ma, and I asked permission to integrate this other tool into her yoga practice to make sure that it was, an authentic thing. It wasn't like I was just doing that to, get more students or to make something that was cool, or, you know what I mean? Like that was not my
Yeah,
motivation. And then
beautiful.
I went to my
How
sound
aware is that?
teacher. Yeah. And then I went to my sound teacher and did the same thing. And I was like, does this make sense to you? And then, so they both worked with me to create something that was that I can't even tell you how important that was to me. And it wasn't really about what even anybody else thought about that or not, because some people were like, you don't need to do all that, Jeneen, just do it, but I had to, because that was so, that level, that quality is so important to me. So
Yeah.
yes.
How beautiful is that? And also to see how it plays out in the material world, because
Right.
with this Saturn going into Pisces, it's so much about, yeah, physical material world, reflecting these more kind of unseen inequalities, which is kind of the feminine aspect, which is this galactic that you have. So it's about bringing it together now, and how we live it also in the material world. And that's really such a journey at the moment for all of us, as a humanity, is to start living it fully, not just within ourselves, but material. And that's what you're doing on that level. But also, perhaps how are you doing it in your art? I mean, you're teaching classes, so speak a little bit more about that, or let's explore that and see what awareness you can have. How do you bring it through in your art and
Do
in
you
your
mean
teaching? The authenticity, or this
authenticity piece? Yeah.
or that kind of inner, because the red moon is so
Yes.
about emotions,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
it's it can be overwhelming, and it's so intense because it's a huge field of just energy.
Yeah.
And then somehow you manage to put it onto like a canvas or into an object. Hey, that's amazing.
Yeah. And I mean, I think a part of that is, for me at least, that it's all just, it all just has to be really present, like really in the,
Yes.
like that's where the authenticity lies, if that makes sense, like is in exactly what's happening now. So, I just got done teaching my high school sketchbook class, and, I had a whole plan. I'm sure you can relate to this. And then I showed up and just felt like everybody was in a slightly different place. I was like, forget the plan, we're going to go outside and draw people in space. And anyhow, so it completely shifted. And like that felt like this, listening to what I feel, but also being very sensitive to just whatever is going on, and not being so stuck on a structure that you can't find that authentic moment. And then that's when everything clicks, when it is in the present, and when you are responding to the present. That's true in my painting too. I mean, that's exactly how I paint. I never know what I'm going to do until, how can I, right? How can I possibly know until I get there?
I
I don't
love
have
it.
a plan. I don't have a plan for my paintings. I just show up and then I'm like, what's here for me now? Yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. And do you remember, like say as a child, that you were always very emotional? I mean, obviously having an Italian lineage helps.
Right. Yeah, right.
Italians love feeling and the
It's
intensity of life, and
true.
that's so beautiful. I love it. So I mean, you have a head start on that. But do you remember being sensitive, or I mean, the drawback of so-called drawback or challenge of the red moon is that often red moons don't believe in themselves, or they kind of hide away, or they're not, because I suppose you're so sensitive, so very much impacted as well.
Yeah, I definitely remember that.
Awareness.
Yeah, absolutely. I like my memories, just my memories from my childhood are and I don't mean this to sound, I don't know, bad in any way, but like hiding behind trees, literally. Like the tree. So I would observe the other kids and whatever was going on. And I would, because I felt everything. And so I was like, the trees were the only thing that felt anchoring and safe to me. And so I was very connected to them. And I did, I think I hit a lot. And it wasn't even like, it's not hiding from a place of, you're trying to diminish yourself. It's just like, I felt like it was more observing. Like I was just observing all the time because I didn't quite know how I was supposed to fit in. I was like, because everything felt like I felt everything way too much.
Right? Yeah, amazing. I love it. And how does the fact of you being creative and expressing yourself, how does that help you, or has it helped you?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it's everything.
Yeah.
It's everything. And it's everything because the act of drawing or painting or creating is very much, no matter what I'm looking at, I spent many years painting the trees, but it's still about, expressing what my experience is. So it's, it's a way to, it's almost like a little secret language. Maybe not so secret, but but a way to put what I feel into something, I guess that feels comfortable and really easy for me.
Yeah, and within that, I'm just thinking is also because a red moon is purifying. So by actually integrating it or giving it expressing it, within that expression, you're also purifying or creating more clarity. Hey, in the expression.
Yeah.
So that's
definitely
a beautiful way of doing. We never taught. It's like, yes, you are very talented and have chosen a career as art, but we all can express our emotions. It's almost like the invitation of Red Moon is to say we don't have to feel overwhelmed by emotions. We can actually express or use where it doesn't have to be so-called good, or we need to be a so-called artist or this and that, but there's a integration or purifying aspect just to express what as a vehicle.
And to give and as a language for things that you might experience that don't neatly fall into certain categories of even emotions or whatever. Like there's all this subtle stuff. I don't know how to talk about it,
exactly.
But I can paint it.
Yeah,
right.
Beautiful. No, I love that. And so what kind of art are you doing? Are you painting? So how's that changed through the years?
Oh man. Yeah. Yes, I'm very like, I mean, I've gone through phases or periods where I paint very much from observation. It's always the landscape. It's always nature. It's always connected to nature. Started with the trees. Always, the land, all parts of the landscape, the ocean, the beach, That's what happens when I'm out in the world, because that's where I am. I'm in the landscape. When I'm in a studio, like I can't paint the landscape anymore because I'm not there. Because for me, like that's how almost physical it has to be. So something else
Yeah.
entirely comes out in the studio, and it's usually um like right now I've been working on this Venus series. It's usually somehow connected to astrology and alchemy and space and the stuff that we can't really see supposedly with our naked eye, but like I feel it. And so it's a whole different, it is still a landscape, I guess, right? Kind of, but it's a different
Absolutely.
landscape.
It's that kind of maybe the galactic
Yes,
landscape. It's like the galaxy, it's like,
totally.
yeah. And they also have trees, but they look differently.
Right,
Different,
exactly.
yeah, it's completely paradigm shift.
Right,
Love
right.
it.
Yeah.
And, and tell us a bit about your studio. So is it a combination of many different artists, or how have you been creating it? Because you were working at home and then you went back to, can you tell us a
Yeah.
little bit more about that?
Oh my gosh, that was an amazing journey. So yeah, I had studios, fantastic studios all over the place for many, many years. And then I didn't, and I had a studio in my house for like 15 years while I raised my kids, which worked for when it worked. And timing is everything, right, Elizabeth? And then I did that program with you.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
literally the day after the program with you, I got a call for a studio that I didn't even know I applied for. And it was clearly time. It was like time for me to get out of my house. And so I've been in that studio now for 5 months. And honestly, like I can't be there enough. I couldn't possibly be, like, I just love it so much. I just want,
Oh, how lovely. It
and
makes
I
my
think
heart sing. It's so
yeah, part of
beautiful.
that is just all this, all this kind of bottled up thing, all this bottled up creativity that had been geared towards something else for a long time, and now it's just like, but I just feel so much like, oh, it's the time, like the timing is everything, and right now this it's just I just have to be making art. I'm not thinking at all at the moment about selling or showing. I've sort of put all, because all I care about is making it, and I know the other stuff will come. And that's also right, that goes back to the authenticity. Like I had some really amazing offers in my life to do like commissions, like, can you paint this
Yeah.
for me for my house?
Yeah.
I cannot work that way. I just
How
can't.
funny.
It has to
Yeah.
come from a very different place, and it has to just be something very authentic from me. So for better or worse.
I love it. I love it. That is so interesting. Yeah, how this authenticity can show up in different ways. And it doesn't
Yes.
doing it the other way, but it's just saying, you're so willing to, but that's perhaps, part of being your talent as an artist is just to follow and be in the flow. And,
Right.
we're moving out. I'm so aware, even in myself, of getting out of my little mind, my small
Right.
mind, and just try, and 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 that is also, like you were saying, authentic, being present. Hey, I think you said
Right.
that earlier. It's almost like being able to just be in awareness and make the choice in that moment. And that is so authentic. And it's not about any head stuff saying, oh, blah, 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 So it's really this ability to flow. And for me, you are such a example of that, of
Right.
this to flow. And in a way to just know, Jeneen, you just know, you don't have to work it out. And you're
Right.
so willing to show up like that. Hey, and I mean, like even what just comes to mind is I think what you shared about when you decided what you were going to do, and your dad said, what did he want you to do, or you thought that was a great idea to be when you went to study?
Oh, right. When when I went to a very prestigious college, very intellectually driven, and then decided I wanted to be an artist. And he was like, "Oh, you could have just gone to the like local community college. Why are you going to this fancy school to study that?" Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah. And being willing to show up, be authentic and say, no, I can't do, even
Right.
at that age, yeah, which is, still kind of quite young, and there's quite a lot of
Mhm.
expectations and pressure in a way. Well, but it's really not necessarily true for us. And you
Mhm.
being able to be so strong and willing and authentic to say no, I need to be an artist. This is what I'm doing, and it's not about what the outcome's going to be and what a
Right.
contribution that to live in life. And it's, for me, it's kind of also a bit like this Pisces kind of influence of just saying what is truly, it's about expressing, and it's not about what we will get from it. It will come
Mm.
anyway, but there's
Yes.
this unconditional kind of love in it
Yeah.
for ourselves, and also in the expression of it. It's kind of, in a good way, selfless.
Right.
It is for self, because it's expressing your inner knowing, and you're being true to that and authentic. But it's also just, yeah, it's saying it isn't just all about me, you know. um I'm willing to just see what will be the reward. It's not reward driven. It's 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 something much deeper. It's acknowledging an infinite scope of possibility. Yeah.
Mm.
So amazing.
Mm.
And tell me, so what are your desires at this time? It's just about expressing, and or what times now? You're always so in tune. I always love listening to what you
Um,
say.
yeah,
Yeah,
I
what's your
feel
sense of take at the moment of what's
like,
going on, or
yeah,
anything?
I feel this, and I say pressure, but but it's not bad.
Yes.
It's actually
Yeah,
kind
yeah.
of good. Like I feel this pressure like behind me, and it's like pushing me forward, as though, whatever. And when I say me, but I feel this also collectively, like that
Yeah.
there's been a certain pace to things over the last however many years. And now it's like things are speeding up, like the frequency is shifting. I feel that. And it's like it's time to catch up, if that makes
Yes.
sense. But not in like an
Yeah.
anxious way, not like, oh my gosh, it's time to catch up. Not at all. Actually, it feels really good. It feels like, the vision I'm getting is like, a bird, like wind under its wings, like so that it can get the
Oh,
lift.
beautiful.
Right. It's like this, oof. um, yeah. And I don't, I'm not that concerned with, well, where are we going, or what is it? It's just time to move. Doesn't matter. It's just time to
Yes,
move.
exactly. But movement and flow
Movement.
and
Yeah,
expansion.
move forward, right? Or
Yeah.
move out, or move in all directions if you're not just a forward mover.
Yeah. I love it.
Right.
Love it. And and where are you in the States? Jeneen, you're close to Washington, are you?
Yeah, very close.
Yeah. And how's the energy this time? How's your experience of it? The
Oh,
energy.
it's really heavy. It's I think, what I feel every time I'm here is, well, which is always is that there's this, like, I don't know, it's thick and heavy and slow energy. And it's very hard because I like to vibrate fast and high.
Yeah.
And I'm
Yeah.
always asking myself, like, why am I here? It doesn't seem like the place that I belong. But when I consider, and I have considered, moving to places where there maybe are more, there's more people that are similar. It feels to me like, well, I'm not needed there because those people are already there. Like, this is where I'm needed.
Yeah.
and
Absolutely.
and this, I don't think it's gonna. I don't have any, false feeling of like, oh yeah, this is gonna be a piece of cake, or a skip in the park. But I do feel energized. I don't feel I feel hopeful. Hope was
Yeah,
my word
that's
this year.
beautiful. Love
I
that.
did, I think it was around the new year, actually around the lunar new year, that I did this meditation. And I always ask for like a word to come in for myself, for everything, for my work. And the word that came in was hope, which I can be dismissive sometimes of that voice, because I'm like,
Yeah,
oh, insert eye roll here. Yeah, whatever, hope. But I got, no,
yeah.
really, hope. And so that feels, I guess, like what's feeding what I'm being fed by right now. So a very strong connection to this sense of hope.
Yeah, I also feel that. I really say, for me, it's almost like some people say hope is almost like it's not creation, but
Mm,
it is, in the sense that it's like this sense of infinite possibility,
mm,
that anything is possible,
right.
and it's open. Hey,
Yes.
that for me is like hope. It's a sense of yeah, infinite possibility. It's almost like the image that you're giving of, I love that image of a bird flying,
Mm,
and the wind is carrying it. It's like that sense of elevation,
right.
and and not being stuck. And I
Right.
love this thing about you, that for me is also very Red Moon, is like you're willing and able to acknowledge the maybe heavier, denser energies, but there's no judgment.
Right.
They are all just different, but we
Yeah.
have choice, and we can choose what to live in or not. But it isn't this thing of, oh, that's wrong and bad,
Mhm.
and getting caught up in it. It's keeping that sense of flow, which is so
Yeah.
Red Moon. It's about staying in the flow. Out of the flow is judgment, yeah, where
Mm,
we somehow allow ourselves to be affected by it, and we become victims to it, instead
mm,
of just observing everything. And as an
right.
artist, you've got this beautiful ability to observe. I love this thing about you, almost like standing behind the trees and being able to observe humanity. It's
Yeah.
like, what are they up to now?
Yes. Yeah, exactly.
Time will tell. But
Right.
yeah, we definitely on a different octave, and it's so lovely to hear that, and also, we, as we're moving into, just to end, because you've got to go and give your other art class. um as Pluto goes into Aquarius, and you are an
Mhm.
Aquarian in the conventional, aren't you? Yeah, in the
Aries.
conventional astrology.
I'm
Are
an
you
Aries.
Aries? Are you Aries?
Aries. Yeah,
Yeah,
in
but
conventional.
you've got an Aquarius Venus point. Yeah, your Venus
Is
point
that
is
right?
Aquarius.
Okay.
Yeah, your Venus point is Aquarius. So you have a strong healing ability in Aquarius. But yeah, um, this thing of, uh, the Pluto in Aquarius, which is about artistic expression. Like for me, it's almost like the Renaissance, the new Renaissance. And also, I mean, I laugh because of your Italian connection, and the Renaissance in Italy. I always think of these amazing artists that showed up,
Mm,
and for us to bring in these new ideas, the new inventions, the new artwork, through the artwork, bring in this new information. So it's as if we're all being, uh, creative, to be the creators that we are. And I mean, the Mayan calendar, their mantra is time is art, not time is money, which is the old, 1260 program, which is struggle and human made. But the real nature, frequency of 1320, which is what you are, the Red Galactic Moon, is time is art, and it's like, let's create. We are here as creators. And so, to step into our creative abilities, and they're infinite. You are expressing it in such a beautiful way already. But for us to have this renaissance in creativity, just love it, and the inspiration that you're bringing to people. So yeah, so thank you for that, and the most wonderful, lovely connection, and able to talk to you.
yay.
And so, such an amazing, inspiration in the world with your art, and your sense of being, just,
Mm.
well, who you are. You are the artwork, aren't you? So yeah. So
Yay.
lots of love, my
Thank you,
darling. Thanks
Elizabeth,
for,
so much.
for showing up.
Super fun to
Yeah.
talk to you. I had to show you. Look, I have my flowers live in my car now.
Oh, I love it. You are so flexible. And thank you for doing this chat in your car. You are
Yeah.
just the most genius, intuitive, fun person. I tell you what. Thank you.
Awesome. Mwah. Thank you so
Love
much.
you lots. Thank you, my darling.
You too.
Many
Bye.
blessings. Bye. I love you.